Good evening. This is Dr. Yogita Beri, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat, Varanasi. Today, I'm going to discuss Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. Firstly, I'll discuss why the government introduced this act, what is the need of the introduction of this FRBM Act. Then we will discuss the main features of the act, and lastly, I'll discuss the criticism or the limitation associated with this FRBM Act. The fiscal situation of Government of India were worsening day by day in 1990s. To overcome the worsening fiscal situation, the Government of India had set up a committee to recommend a draft legislation for fiscal responsibility. And based on the recommendation of a committee, the Government of India introduced this FRBM bill in December 2000. This bill was different from the previous bill introduced by the government for the fiscal indicator because in this bill, the numerical target were set up by the government. The bill was referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance. Then, taking the recommendation of the Standing Committee, a revised bill were introduced in April 2003. The bill was passed in Lok Sabha in May 2003 and then in Rajya Sabha in August 2003. After receiving the assent of the President, this bill became an act and it was referred as FRBM Act 2003. The FRBM Act actually provides the rules for the fiscal responsibility of the central government. This act was amended by the government and came into force from 5th July 2004. The main objective of this FRBM Act were to reduce fiscal deficit, to adopt prudent debt management, to generate revenue surplus. Now I'll discuss what are the main features of this FRBM Act. The first important feature which were associated with this FRBM Act were revenue deficit, or the main motto of the government is to reduce the revenue deficit, and for the reduction of the revenue deficit the government was set up a target like that it should reduce revenue deficit by an amount equivalent to 0.5% or more of the GDP at the end of each financial year beginning with 2004-5 financial year. The revenue deficit should be reduced to zero within a period of 5 years ending on March 2009. Once revenue deficit becomes zero, the central government should build up surplus amount of revenue which it may utilize for discharging the liability in excess of asset. The second major recommendation were related with the fiscal deficit. We can simply say under the fiscal deficit measure, the government should reduce this gross fiscal deficit by an amount equivalent to 3.3% or more of the GDP at the end of each financial year, beginning with 2004-5 financial year. The central government should also reduce gross fiscal deficit to an amount equivalent to 2% of the GDP up to 31st March 2006. The third important recommendation were related with the public debt. Under this FRBM Act, it was stated by the government that the central government should ensure that the total liability should not be more than 9% of the GDP for the financial year 2004-5. And there should be a progressive reduction of this limit by at least 1% point of GDP in each subsequent year. The fourth important recommendation were related with the borrowing from the RBI. The amended FRBM Act clearly states that the central government shall not normally borrow from the RBI. However, the central government may borrow from RBI by way of advance to meet temporary excess of cash payment over the cash receipt during any financial year. The fifth major recommendation were related with the fiscal transparency. There are two important features under this fiscal transparency. The central government should minimize as far as possible the secrecy in the preparation of annual budget. The central government at the time of presentation of annual budget shall disclose the significant change in the accounting standard, policies and practices likely to affect the computation of fiscal indicator. The sixth is limit on guarantee. Under this, the central government restrict the guarantees given by to 0.5% of GDP in any financial year beginning with 2004-5. The seventh recommendation were related with the medium-term fiscal policy statement. We can simply say it is again an important feature of FRBM Act. It actually states that the central government should present medium-term fiscal policy statement in both the houses of parliament along with annual financial statement. This medium term fiscal policy statement basically consists the indicators like revenue deficit as a percentage of GDP, fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP, tax revenue as a percentage of GDP, and total outstanding liability as a percentage of GDP. The eighth major recommendation were related with the compliance of rule. Under this compliance of rule, the major measures are as follows. The FRBM bill clearly states that the finance minister shall review every quarter the trend in receipt and expenditure in relation with budget and place it before both houses of the parliament that over outcome of such reviews. The finance minister shall also make a statement in both the houses of the parliament. If there is any deviation, then it is a responsibility of a finance minister, and he will declare the remedial measure related with that particular deviation. The next and the last major recommendation were related with the task force on the implementation of the FRBM Act. The Government of India set up a task force headed by Dr. Vijay L. Kelkar for drawing up the medium-term framework for the fiscal policy to achieve the FRBM target. And this task force also recommended some measures related with the fiscal policy. The first one is related with the widening the tax base through removal of exemption, and the next important measure is related with the an all India GST on the basis of grant bargaining with the state governments. And if you are talking about some other recommendations related with this task force, then we can simply say that this task force also said for the empowering the local bodies through their reserve transfers. So we can simply say that these were the major recommendation or the major features of FRBM Act 2003. Now we will discuss the limitation of FRBM Act 2003. The major recommendation is related with the target. The target which we have set specifically related with the gross fiscal deficit were very strict. Actually, this bill stipulates that by March 31st, 2006, the gross fiscal deficit will be reduced to the 2% of the GDP. This is, of course, very good if we'll talk about from the point of view of fiscal indicator, but this limit were very low. And on the basis of the present need of the government, we can say that the target were very strict. The next important limitation is neglect of equity and growth. If you are talking about this FRBM Act, then we can simply say कि ये जो FRBM Act है, it is actually heavy loaded against the investment in both human development and infrastructure sector. One of the major omission of the amendment FRBM Act 2003 was complete absence of any target for time-bound minimum improvement of the area of power generation, transport sector, which is very important both from the point of view of equity as well as from the point of view of higher economic growth. The third major limitation is actually the non-coverage of the state government. As I have discussed that all the recommendation is related with the central government, and the state government were totally out from these FRBM Act recommendation, and later on different states have also set up their FRBM Act. Neglect on the development need is the next limitation of this FRBM Act. Actually, this particular act is related with the reduction of the revenue deficit as well as the fiscal deficit, but without considering the development of the country, we have just emphasized in the reduction of these two deficits. The next limitation is the need to increase revenue. Actually, if you want to decrease the deficit, then there is a need to increase both tax revenue as well as non-tax revenue of the central government. And without considering that how we will increase the revenue, we have just targeted our in the reduction of the deficit. It also neglect the social sector. This FRBM Act does not mention anything related with the social sector development, such as health, education, etc. So we all know if we are talking about the reduction in the deficit, then the social sector plays a very important role in the economic development of a nation. The seventh important limitation is related with the problem of subsidies. The government may be able to reduce the revenue deficit unless and until the subsidies will be reduced. And we all know the subsidies were creating a pressure over the government, and these were becoming a major revenue expenditure of a government. The last limitation, we can simply say that this FRBM Act was based on the false assumption. False assumption related with a higher growth, related with a lower fiscal deficit leads to higher growth, related with larger fiscal deficit leads to higher inflation, related is a larger fiscal deficit increase external vulnerability of the economy, etc. So we can simply say that this FRBM Act were based on the false assumption, and that is why at some point of time we are unable to achieve the target fixed by this FRBM Act. Now, at last, I'll just conclude this FRBM Act and will say that despite these criticism, it play an important role in controlling the fiscal deficit and bringing the transparency in the fiscal operation of a government. If it is implemented effectively in letter and spirit by the concerned government, then we can simply get a very much change in our fiscal system. Thank you.